The following podcast may contain discussions supported by science that may be considered dangerous to some listeners and conspiracy theorists. Discretion is advised.
The Three Down Greencast is brought to you by Lucky Bastard Distillers, Saskatchewan's premier distillery, and by the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, brewed in the heart of Regina.
Ooh, welcome to the Three Down Greencast. You are listening to the internet's only Ask John Anything podcast.
It's back!
I am Joel Gasson with John Fraser as usual. As promised, we are recording this week the Ask John Anything 2024 holiday edition. As that's kind of a thing we started last year at Christmas, went over pretty well. So we figured this December, why not bring it back? Because
And we can assure you it is 100% mayo nog free, although thanks to Grandpa Ted, we could have worked his connections and tried that cocktail that you brought up last week. Because, again, small world, I get a text from Grandpa Ted that his friend, Ray, actually has Malort because he's from Chicago. So, unfortunately, his friend Ray is nowhere near where we are. So, otherwise, we couldn't have the dangerous Red Bull Malort concoction.
No. Though I'm sure we could have found like an alternative if we really wanted to look it up, but
true. Yeah. No, that's fair. We probably could have improvised, but again, it also goes with the downside of making my house smell like a meth lab. But no mayo nogs, no fancy Red Bull drinks. We are just pure raw boozy questions, unprotected boozy questions.
That is certainly one way to put that. So we will get into, of course, the bulk of this episode. Not much going on in Saskatchewan Rough Rider land this week. I do have a piece up on 3downnation.com on the 7 players that I believe the Riders should re-sign. John Hodge wrote 8. There's some others coming from other contributors who wrote 8. My thinking was, well, Trevor Harris would have been my 8th, so I'm just going to pick 7.
You mean one of them is spoilers, is one of them Shea Patterson, Joel?
No. There's Shea Patterson nor Mario Alfred are on this list. Despite a previous list that may have included it somewhere.
See, okay, Alfred, you could at least make a case. Anybody that's suggesting Shea Patterson was an important re-sign.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's
unless there was literally no other backup quarterback on the market, I suppose. But yeah.
I wonder if you ask AI who the most important one is, what they would say. But do continue.
Oh, I don't know. But this does
that's the vibe maybe I'm getting. Maybe somebody asked AI.
Maybe, but this does bring up something that I didn't mean to share today, but I think I have to now.
Okay.
It was on Blue Sky.
Okay.
Chris Lawton. He apparently asked Google AI who the most successful head coach in Rough Riders history was.
Yeah.
And apparently the AI scraped stats from Rob Vanstone's article on Riderville.
Okay.
And credited all those stats to Rob. So congratulations to the Rider historian / content creator, Rob Vanstone, for now being apparently the most successful head coach in Saskatchewan Rough Riders history. Because AI is never wrong, right? So,
well, it's funny. Like on Meta, I had to try it once when we released the news that I was back at the Rush Broadcast booth. It's like one of the like Meta suggested questions with their AI is like John Fraser's commentary style. I'm like, okay, I got to give this a whirl. It's clueless. There's too many John Frasers out there. Like started into political diatribes. None of which
course.
Are about
I mean, we know of your favorite MP in
that's right,
or MPP, one or the other in Ontario.
Right, and now I'm getting tagged as who's the Fraser in Trudeau's cabinet. Now I'm like randomly getting tagged. I
don't know.
Tagged there. Also, according
is that Sean Fraser?
Sean Fraser. So close enough, right? Also, apparently the most important players, according to ChatGPT, are Jamal Morrow and Dan Clark to resign.
Yes. I mean, Dan Clark did appear at a game this year. He was at the playoff game to rally the fans once. So he was at least in the building. I don't believe Jamal Morrow was at all this year.
No. So I get it.
One guy who did re-sign this week was Edmonton Elks quarterback Trey Ford.
Yes.
We are not here to discuss the merits of that signing. I think we all agree it's generally pretty good.
Great signing.
But the interesting and fun fact that we learned from this was The Edmonton Elks did a pretty good job of, getting this news out there and sharing different content. One of the videos we saw was of new Edmonton Elks owner Larry Thompson signing the deal.
Yes.
And at first glance, it looks pretty innocuous. It's like, okay, well, we've learned now that these guys sign digital contracts, so that's cool. No more faxing things back and forth to sign.
So now is it like saved PDFs on an iPad in a desk drawer rather than just like the printed copy in a desk drawer?
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the Elks are just that advanced now. I don't know. I don't know how all the teams operate, but unless that was just a plant, unless that was like him not actually signing the actual contract, and that was just to make it look cool, he was signing on what looked like a big Microsoft Surface screen or something along those lines, at least, right? But then some people caught on to some other information of that video. Thompson clearly wearing an Elks jacket. We believe a shirt underneath.
Maybe. Question mark.
But the most important information, which has now completely changed my thought on Larry Thompson, was he was definitely at the very least rocking his house shorts in that video.
That's true. Like
they were very short, so I didn't look that closely after that to confirm whether they were in fact house shorts or if he was just in his boxers on this video. But either way, it's commendable because I mean, who likes pants? And if one of the richest guys in Alberta says I don't want to wear pants, then who's to stop him? Like, he can set the dress code with the Elks. Apparently, pants are out.
Well, and especially too, like, he feels more like a man of the people as he's sitting there probably signing the biggest, most important free agent signing he's going to make this offseason with the Elks, and is just rocking out in short shorts. See, I would say, and upon closer inspection, and I have looked up the photo.
Okay.
Those are
I haven't gone back to look since because I wasn't really that concerned about the information. Well, but I left the door open that it maybe could have been.
You don't know. The man's equipment could have been hanging out. Those were some short shorts. Those just remind me of like the kind of shorts a guy his age would wear to lounge around the house in, right?
Yeah.
Now, my bigger take is I don't think he was wearing a shirt like that. Like, of all the things in your wardrobe, like I get like hanging around with house shorts and no tarp on. It seems like they just quickly grabbed the closest thing they could find that would have covered his bare skin and threw it on him. Like, it's
possible because I mean, wearing a jacket in your house is weird. Like not like a house coat or something. This was clearly like an outdoor rain jacket.
Oh yeah, like his wife was like, "Oh no, we need to the socials teams are here. Oh shit. Throw me a jacket," and away we went. Right. So obviously, dress code for the Edmonton Elks. You don't have to worry about like showing up in suits. Good news for the broadcast crew. Just rock your house shorts, man. It's a vibe, and to me, that might make me change my mind on the entire Edmonton Elks organization.
It like if suddenly the Elks are like good next year, at least competitive, and the attendance starts ticking up, it's clearly because Larry Thompson rocked house shorts.
Clearly the shorts, the magic of house shorts strike yet again.
He is like, I mean, you and I rock house shorts. We know a few of our listeners do, but he's obviously the most important and influential man to finally, at least publicly admit that he wears house shorts, whether he intended to or not.
Well, all we know is I you hear like rich Alberta owner. I didn't think that we'd be able to relate with him so well as we are right now.
No, not at all. I was like, I never plan on owning a construction company and selling it for millions of dollars. So
that's fair. So I can buy a football team, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd be great, but I mean, realistically, I have 2 bits of string and a couple paper clips. What if I could trade my way into a football team?
I mean, maybe. I mean, people have traded up to some fairly large things. It took a very long time, but it could maybe happen.
That's fair.
So yes, Ask John Anything, Holiday Edition is upon us. Some fair questions coming up for one John Fraser.
Yes.
As we will force him to answer most of them. And so we will get into that. There are a few that aren't quite holiday themed, but I said that was okay. So
That's
we
okay.
will get into
slide them on in.
All of that and more. But as usual, John, for the Pile of Bones Brewing Company, what is in the glass this week?
We're actually with the traditional Ask John Anything double fist. Normally I try to mix it up, but tonight it is all Lucky Bastard all the time, our other great sponsor of this here podcast. I got gin, lemon, cucumber in a big boy glass and a Lucky Bastard Saskatoon berry iced tea. So we're going with the Ask John Anything double fist because I feel like that adds the chaos of it, and just generally makes the episode a little bit better.
The question is the asbestos golf ball around?
No. It unfortunately is not, as I don't think I'll have to. See, normally I have to put something on ice, but I'm doing a true double fist because I had to work. I had to work a long ass day today. So normally before we do an Ask John anything, I'll start around supper. I'll have like a cocktail at supper, not a get all of it in me at once kind of attitude.
So this one actually might get extra spicy as it hits a little harder than it slowly started building over the course of the day, really.
Well, that's it. That's it. We are going to see this experimentation into what happens when I have to floor it like I'm playing Gran Turismo 7.
For me, one of the OGs for this for our program anyway, the Nokomis Craft Ales Pale Ale.
Ooh, nice.
Sort of a lighter version of their IPA, easy drinking, crushable, but still a little bit hoppy.
Yeah, it's really perfect. And again, I was at the liquor store and looked at all the different beers. And I just about went with something from Nokomis, but I'm like, nah, I need a big glass of gin for this. We need to be in the right headspace to do an Ask John anything.
Fair enough. So we will start off the top here. We will start with a Christmas-related one.
Let's go.
We'll probably head off to the other ones toward the end.
Okay, smart.
From, of course, friend of the show, Jacques Cartier.
Yes.
What are your favorite Christmas movie/specials? Also, each CFL team has an equivalent Christmas/movie special. What are they?
Oh, okay. See, I only go about 3-4 Christmas movies, Christmas specials deep. So I don't know if, Jock, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can name one to all 9 teams. Like today, I caught a glimpse of one question and I actually had to start researching reindeer. So I'm just going to drop a few good ones and maybe a CFL equivalent. So, of course, Christmas special, got to go with the classic, A Charlie Brown Christmas, right? It's from 1965. It's a classic. It's touching, and it's just there for you, right? The Peanuts are a lot of nostalgia to me, so definitely one of my favorites. And it's kind of like, they're kind of like the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, right? A classic with lots of sustained success through the decades, although the Peanuts have kind of gone away at times. They came back with the movie, and now, of course, you can watch A Charlie Brown Christmas anywhere, even for free. Apple Plus TV, I learned this weekend. Okay. A little more modern, a little bit more recent success. We'll call this the Ottawa Red Blacks. Probably another one of my favorite Christmas specials is from the show The League. One of my favorite shows ever as a fantasy football addict and commissioner of my league. Currently in my playoffs right now, so this is distracting me from the Thursday Nighter. I'm quite glad of that. Season 4, episode 12, A Krampus Carol. It is just pure chaos. John LaJoie does a great job in a large costume. I'm Mr. Giblets. It is fantastic. It is one of the funniest things, and it ends on a gut-busting note. So that would be like the Ottawa Red Blacks, new with some success, but still a little nostalgic. And of course, the classic Christmas movie. One would say the number one of all time. Really, the Toronto Argonauts of the Christmas movies. A little controversial at times. People don't always think they're a Christmas movie. In fact, they don't at times think they're a Christmas movie. But of course, Die Hard. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and that is a hill I will die on. The plot takes place because of Christmas, takes place at Christmas. There's Christmas imagery. I mean, he really says, ho, 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 I have a machine gun. So, plus, it inadvertently started a new family tradition last year. Texting with my brother-in-law, my dad, my other brother-in-law, just, oh yeah, what are you guys up to tonight? It turns out, separately, completely unplanned, all 3 were watching Die Hard. So I let my then 8 and 5-year-old kids, I said, listen, you're going to hear some bad words in this, but we are also going to watch Die Hard on Christmas Eve. So it has become a tradition, and Die Hard is the go-to. It's a Christmas movie. It's the classic. It's sustained success, much like the Toronto Argonauts, but still a little controversy mixed in there.
Yeah, I don't think Jacques gonna like that one. I think he's firmly in the it's not a Christmas movie camp.
I know.
Based on what I've seen online recently.
That's also why I'm bringing it up, and we won't get into the butter tarts debate because I don't like butter tarts.
That's fair. There's no questions about butter tarts, so you're okay. From Benny, ask John anything holiday edition. Regarding kids' school holiday concerts, would you, 1, stand at the back? So I guess there's 2 parts of this question. Which do you prefer, standing in the back versus getting there early and sitting front row, or the afternoon performance versus the evening performance?
Okay. I'm almost always working, so I always miss the afternoon performance, so I don't know the comparable. I hear it's a little more sane, but like the evening performance, it's the kid's second go. You know, they're going to be polished. The nerves are gone. It's like when you come out the big playoff game, you get that first hit and you feel good. So evening performance all the way. Kids are a little sharper. Myself, as a short dude, I'm a go to the back kind of guy. And that may surprise you, but if you're up front, so
when you
let's say
said you
you're
were
like,
short, that's I thought you were going to say up to the front so you could see.
right. No, but here's the veteran move. If you're at the back, the kid, like if you're up the front, the kids are watching exactly where you are at all times. And like, let's say I get somebody that's like 6'5" sitting in front of me. I can't see. I got to get up and relocate, rattle the kids. Okay. If you're at the back, although maybe harder with the sight line, you can stand up and stand and be one of the parents at the back of the room. Then you can see everything. You're not interfering. And then you're also not distracting the children. So it's a win-win, right? Maybe you give them a big old wave when you come in so they know you're there. There's no doubts in their mind. You settle the mind down, night performance and back of the room, especially for a short, fat guy like myself.
Fair. I mean, you could also do like the further back where there are no seats and just stand the whole time.
Oh, no. You have to mix in the sit and the stand because a lot of times none of these things start on time. And
No.
And you're there for the whole duration. You know, you're just there to see your kids. And you're there for the duration. You can't bail. You can't see.
No, I wasn't suggesting that part at all. Just that.
Oh, certainly. This
like
is just
anything. Like, I mean, especially, a job like yours where you're sitting all day. It's like, I don't know. When I sit a lot, I also kind of like to mix in some standing. I just can't sit for that long anymore.
See, I have the organic thing of the water cooler is like clear across the showroom for me. So I do actually get up quite a bit through the day. So that's less of a factor, but I like the sit. You can sit while you're, while the other kids are on, the ones you're not really interested in, the kids that aren't yours, and then you can stand for your own kids. Perfect mix at the back. You can do it at the back all day long.
And if you really wanted to get risky, in the back, you could sneak something in as well.
Well,
not that I would ever condone such actions.
I know the principal of Max's school fairly well through lacrosse, so I think it would almost be expected, right? But especially with the night show, a little nightcap for your night show.
I mean, they really should get a license and sell on site to raise money for the school, quite frankly.
Oh, it'd be gangbusters. 100% it'd be gangbusters.
Like, I mean, within reason, like maybe like a 2-drink maximum or something, but still. Like,
Right. I don't think it'd be a bad, but can you license it? Well, I guess you can because people get married at schools all the time, especially in small towns.
Yeah. I don't know the rules around that deeply. But,
right.
I'm sure there's ways around it.
Great fundraising idea right there. Kids concert, little bar at the back.
Yep. There you go.
Just water the booze way down, do like a festive cocktail or something. Boom. Millions. You're welcome.
School's crisis averted. Maybe
nobody tell Scott Moe. That'll be his next idea.
I mean, that Scott Moe might actually show up at schools.
Hey!
Oh! From Dave.
Yes.
This is kind of holiday related because, as most of us know, not so much me anymore, but there was a time in my life where it was mostly because you get it from your parents.
Yes.
You get underwear and socks at Christmas.
Yeah.
So Dave was wondering, when was the last time John bought himself underwear?
So this is funny, and I don't know how this came up. Last time I saw Dave, he came by the store to provide me with my Zach Caleras oopsies after the Grey Cup.
Yeah.
And somehow our conversation turned, as it does when you get Dave and I together, to silliness. And I mentioned, not once in my entire life have I purchased underwear for myself.
Really?
Never. And now as I'm 38, I realized this in my late 20s. And I got thinking back, I've never, because you've always gotten it for Christmas or you were a little kid, you've always had it. And then right around the time my late 20s came around, that's when it became kind of fashionable to give a guy, the high class stuff, like the Saks and stuff like that, the high quality underwear became kind of a common gift idea. Even something you could throw in a Christmas gift exchange was high quality underwear. So I then made it a thing. I'm I've gotten through 29 years of my life never buying underwear. And here I am at 38. And I can proudly say, and I have a good roster. We're not talking worn down, torn up, the family's on board. Everybody's on board with my quest to never buy myself underwear. And so far we are 38 years, a number of days into that quest and still going strong.
That's impressive.
As I'm sure I will open up my stocking on Christmas morning and Santa Claus will have brought me some more underwear.
Seems probable. I mean, if you've gone this long, but I mean, I don't know. Everything comes to an end eventually, though. That's all I'm going to say.
Listen, I got a deep roster. I go very deep. I have like 7 or 8 pairs of high quality underwear. They're going to last a while and still cushion the Manscaped zone, and still feel and work really, really well. So it might be a while, right? And now it's like a major purchase. It's like $30 for some of these sacks or
I buy the like 5-pack at Costco.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be buying for yourself. Maybe you quit buying for yourself. You get the good stuff, gas.
No, I don't really care. It's long ended for me. Like, it's not really a big deal. I don't even remember anyone actually really buying me underwear before. Like, I think it was mostly socks, and then we used to get like pajama pants.
Oh yeah, yeah,
kind of the thing. But yeah, not really underwear.
But see, it's shifted now because everybody knows I don't wear pajama pants.
Mm-hmm.
For I am house shorts, unless I'm like seriously ill. Like, you can tell that's what I'm sick is when the pajama pants are on.
If I have to leave the house sort of an immediate sort of window, I have like some sweatpants that I put on, in the winter. Not in the summer, obviously, but
I still went out yesterday in minus a bazillion to what was I was just taking the garbage out.
Oh, like to take the garbage out, sure, but I mean, if I have to run to the store or something, like I'll throw a pair of sweats on.
See, I can't do sweats. Sweats are not my thing. I'm very anti-sweats.
Weird.
Yeah,
they're so comfortable though. Like, and I mean, it's about to end, but I'm going to have to start wearing a belt again every day soon. But I went a very long time over the last 8 months without wearing a belt.
Right, paternal leave is very good for that. See, I find, and maybe it's because of my oddly shaped ass, like there's like no real zone where like the sweatpants fit without falling down. And you go too high, you're on the gut, too stretched out, they fall down.
See, I have no ass, but sweatpants still stay on me, so I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. It's I don't have like that band of body mass where the sweatpants fit properly without falling down or making my gut look much bigger than it is. So that's why I've never been a sweatpants guy. Hence house shorts, and even house shorts outdoors when it's minus 30.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm quickly, like if I'm like, maybe not minus 30, but like there's generally like the line, when it's cold, when there's a few of us at dodgeball who put on pants to go to dodgeball instead of just going in our shorts. Like minus 10, minus 15, yeah, I'll probably still just wear my shorts out and go. We get lower than that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm probably gonna slap on a pair of sweats to wear for a few minutes in and out.
That's fair. See, I'll bring a change for those though. Like I just I've debated because I've noticed you come off the ice at curling, and I'm always warm, right? From the heart rate's been up. I've been sweeping. Even though I wear a very thin pant on the ice, I've honestly thought about packing shorts and making them drinking shorts for after games. And we may see that at the men's in January.
I always, because I'm like a reluctant skip down here when I curl. It's always like a strange feeling after the game.
Right.
Like I find after curling where I'm like warm from like playing a sport, but also still kind of cold in spots. It's very strange.
Because you've done a lot of standing.
Yes. But even when I played front end, like I would be like, my head would be warm, like my arms and like some other stuff would be warm, but like if you touched my belly, it would still be cold.
See, I get that playing hockey. I don't understand it.
I get that from curling. It's weird.
Huh. Well, I'll have to touch your cold belly.
I don't know if it's cold with the touch, but it feels cold to me anyway.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to find out in January.
Something to look forward to, I guess.
Oh, boy.
From Deb. I believe this is Deb's first ever question.
Yes, love it, Deb. Thank you.
Ask John anything. Of the 9 starting quarterbacks last season, which of Santa's reindeer did each one represent? And I believe this is one you really had to do some research on.
I did. I had to do some research, write myself some talking notes. Deb, I'm sorry. I like the holidays. I'm not a huge holiday knowledge guy, so I had to go and make some notes on this one. So first off, AI answered these questions for me, so I don't know if they're necessarily right. I Googled the reindeer, okay?
Yeah.
And it gave me a definition of each reindeer, which then I could line up to a CFL quarterback. So here we go. Okay, so Dasher apparently is a fast reindeer who likes to dance. So the name comes from the German word Dasher, which means purse maker. Well, this is straightforward. He's fast, probably the most athletic guy. I bet you he can cut a rug. Don't know about the purse making skills. That's, maybe we can get him into maybe he was in a leather class when he was playing, CIS football down in Waterloo. But definitely Dasher. I just think Trey Ford. Dancer is a graceful and energetic reindeer with smooth moves. Also could be Trey Ford. But if we're thinking like smooth and energetic, I'm going with Nathan Rourke here. This statement is largely based on pre-NFL Rourke, not what we saw last season, right? Because when he's on his game, it's just ball in, ball out. It's smooth. He's lots of energy on the field. So I think he'd be Dancer. But this season would be more like Dumpy the Dumpster Fire Reindeer. So he's still Dancer.
Yes. The most infamous of reindeers, yeah.
Right? Prancer is a loyal reindeer who's often found in the factory with the elves. Don't ask me what he's doing with the elves, but it made me wonder if he's known for his loyalty. Was he ever done dirty for his loyalty? Is there a story out there like maybe one of, how like Krampus is like an evil German Christmas story?
Yep.
Maybe there's an evil German Christmas story where Prancer gets stabbed in the back and replaced for someone more graceful.
So we're saying there needs to be like a Dark Knight version of the reindeer.
Exactly.
Like
right?
The DC Comics universe needs to get on this because they're the ones who take the characters and turn them dark the best, quite frankly.
And just turn down the saturation in your TV. But
yeah,
you see where I'm going here.
Mm-hmm.
Prancer has to be Vernon Adams. Basically on loyalty, which apparently Prancer's loyal. He's always starting caliber, always gets done dirty. Plus, the Calgary Stampeders are basically a bunch of elves, or at least they played like a bunch of tiny little elves on the field last year. So he is now hanging out the elves. So bit of a stretch there, but we got it. Vixen is a reindeer who loves to put on a show and perform magic tricks. Not going to lie, this could also be Trey Ford.
Yeah.
But I can't use them 3 times. Instead,
no.
Let's focus on a more recent magic trick. Such as all it took was the magic of Cody Fajardo going, fuck you, watch us.
That's where I thought you were going with this.
That's incredible.
Yep.
And I have not shared the notes with you.
No, you have not. There's one you did, but that's it.
That's I said one line because I know you're going to love it. Fuck you, watch us, magic trick. Next thing you know, Grey Cup champs.
And like he pulled a lot of magic in his time in Saskatchewan as well, right? At least 100%. The one season, right? So
100%. Like he has some magical moments, and you can tell Fajardo is the guy that loves the show, right? When it's going well, Fajardo loves the spotlight.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much when it's going bad. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Comet is apparently a relaxed reindeer who enjoys playing ball with the fawns. That's Trevor Harris.
Yeah.
Like that 100%. Like everybody, including some coaches, are younger than Trevor Harris these days. Of course, a fawn being a tiny baby deer. But who's more relaxed on the field than Trevor Harris, or even off of it?
Yeah.
Guy just goes out and does his stuff. Cupid, he's an affectionate reindeer who often carries mistletoe. So, using mistletoe these days to get someone to kiss you, it's a little outdated.
Mm-hmm.
Could be seen as forcing someone into kissing you in some circumstances.
Oh, God.
So without context, Cupid is Chad Kelly.
Yep.
Those 2 statements, I swear, have nothing in common. I'm just making statements. Cupid, Chad Kelly. This one was the toughest one. Donner's a reindeer with a deep voice who's always noticed when he enters a room. The name comes from the Dutch word for thunder. Okay. I wouldn't say Bo Levi Mitchell's voice is booming, but it's very distinct.
It's very distinct and recognizable, no question about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
he's got a little bit of that drawl.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That southern drawl, when you hear, like, Bo Levi Mitchell could walk into a room and you're going to know Bo Levi Mitchell is there. He's always noticed when he's on the field. He's always played. He's basically been the best quarterback in the CFL for the better part of a decade. Mix that in. The guy's got some fashion sense when he's on TV as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Bo Levi Mitchell is our Donner. And finally, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer joined Santa team in 1939. Nothing else bad happened that year. Robert L. May wrote a story about Rudolph for the Montgomery Ward department stores. It became so popular that Rudolph is now the most famous reindeer. This is Zach Caleris. He performs no better than the rest of the reindeer, but gets all the hype. Everybody knows Rudolph. I had to use AI to figure out who the hell the other reindeer were. Everybody knows Rudolph, but does Rudolph do much more heavy lifting than the rest of them? Right? Rudolph's a great leader. Zach's a great leader. But like Zach Caleris, Rudolph, all hype.
Wow.
It was too perfect. That's why I sent you that snippet of my notes today.
Yep.
again, you can't argue that like Rudolph's a great leader. Does he do that much more than the rest of the reindeer? I had to learn that Dasher's a purse maker, right? Prancer just vibes with elves. Cupid is Chad Kelly.
Yeah. And apparently we've just all forgotten about Drew Brown again. Poor guy.
I couldn't slot Drew Brown in here.
I know. Because, I mean, the question was based on starters last season, so, I mean, you could argue that Nathan Rourke and Vernon Adams Jr. were both starters last season.
That's what I had to go with. I mean,
we're obviously forgetting that Jake Mayer was a starting quarterback as well for obvious reasons.
Because Jake Mayer's not a starting quarterback, so
no,
that's why I had to go with it. Sorry, Deb, if I bent in the rules a little bit. You could even say that Trey Ford, who could have qualified for 3 of these awards, if you're going to call them awards, John Fraser's annual Reindeer Awards, we might be onto something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could argue Trey Ford wasn't a starter either. We went in some backups, but I figure it allowed me to roast Chad Kelly. So
yeah, I mean that was a really good setup. Once there was a couple words in there, I'm like, oh god, I know where this is going. I think I like in my head, I think I actually I didn't think of this at all before I actually asked you the question. Because that's generally how this goes. Because I don't need to answer them. Quite frankly, that's not the point of the show.
No.
But as you're going through them, as you're kind of talking it through, I think every single one of them was the direction that I was going based on what you said. I kind of figured out what you were saying. Yeah,
and that's why we don't call this podcast Sports Shout, because we don't disagree that often.
No, we don't really. It doesn't make for a great show, but I mean, we're just going to be true to ourselves on this.
8 of you like it.
Mm-hmm. From Jacob in Edmonton, who is an Elks fan, apparently. So
love it.
Thank you for listening, Jacob.
Yes, thank you.
Again, also first time question, which is always fun to see. So we're not. There's been some times, I'm not going to lie, where we've read a few questions from like Jacques and Dave. I just didn't mention who sent the question for fun. Just to kind of breathe this out a little bit. But yes. we got some first timers this time, which is great.
Yes.
So his first one. I still have my Grey Cup cold weeks after the big game. I can relate. Copious amounts of liquor plus crowds of people mean my immune system was screwed. Any cold remedy tips? The second question, which we're not really going to answer because I don't agree with it at all. If Mayer signs as the backup in Saskatchewan, is that the worst quarterback in the room in the league? Serious question. Not trolling the Riders. I say this as someone who watched Trevor choke in Commonwealth for years and goes down to McMahon every year for Labor Day, and this year had to painstakingly watch Jake Mayer throw checkdowns for 60 minutes. I mean, some of his thoughts aren't wrong.
They are not.
I'm not going to say that Trevor Harris and Jake Mayer would be the best quarterback room in the league, but I'm fairly confident they won't be the worst either. That's all.
As it stands right now, because obviously there's a lot of movement that could happen. It's tough. And again, this is just going to sound like me being a shtick.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say that anybody's worse than Winnipeg.
Depends on if they sign anyone behind Zach, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm talking literally right now. Streveler, you have to think, is going to miss a chunk of the season. Zach is hot and cold as ever. If he's not playing, like, obviously they have so little faith in the guys behind him that they let Zach go back out in the Grey Cup with half a finger.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, again, I wouldn't be shocked to see one of the more notable, like an Arbuckle, maybe even Fajardo end up in Winnipeg, right? Because you've got a chance to go play for a ring, a home Grey Cup. But I would say as it stands right now, I don't think Harris and Mayer would be the worst.
I also don't think the gap between first and worst is that big right now.
No, as we discussed last week, how quarterback plays really good.
Well, it's like Jacques Cartier put, not to get too deep into the woods on this sort of stuff, but he put out a skeet on Blue Sky where it was like he kind of ranked where he thought the quarterbacks were right now, and it was like basically no one was kind of elite. Nathan Rourke could be that guy. And I think it was all kind of fair where like the depth across the league for starting quarterbacks is very good right now, but I wouldn't necessarily say there's like a clear-cut top dog.
No, that's a fair statement, right? Yeah. And maybe right now with Davis Alexander, we don't know what he's going to be as a starter. Maybe
if Cody said some things to the Nevada Sports Network that came across a little whiny, as
Shocker.
He does from time to time. So, I mean, I would not be shocked to see him leave Montreal, which could leave that in a very precarious situation, depending on who they end up with a backup, because as much as I think we both like Davis Alexander and we see the potential there, until he does it for sure full time, you just don't know, right? So you'd like to have that security blanket, no question.
Certainly. So the cold remedy.
Cold remedies, yes.
Cold remedy. As we actually discussed some football. So good on you. Thank you for that. We actually got some football conversation in there. Our sponsors will be thrilled.
I can post this on 3downnation.com now. We talk football.
I was just going to say, Justin Dunk will be thrilled. Cold remedy. For me, my go-to is always, and it's funny, I rarely get sick as I knock on genuine wood here on the studio desk.
Awkward.
But I also I have a lot of citrus in my drinks, whether it's an old fashioned, there's some orange in there, whether it's what I'm drinking now, there's a bunch of lemon. Like, I'm a big believer in citrus, right? So when I get sick, I will have just straight lemon juice, Gatorade or BioSteel. Something to get. Oregano oil is another one I really like. And I basically just full of salt, tons of vitamin C. I take those emergency vitamin packets.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll take 2 of those. You're supposed to take one in a day. And then I will have, I'll have one when I get up and I'll have one right before I go to bed. But the other thing I do when I feel myself starting to get sick or feeling like I can beat this thing, and this is key, you're going to have the world's hottest bath. You're going to have a bath so hot, or a hot tub if you have one, that you're like, oh my God, I'm burning up. Okay. After that, you are going straight into your bed and you're going to put on a t-shirt and pajama pants, not house shorts. And you're going to lay under that bed and you are going to let yourself sweat like crazy. Like, you are going to change your shirt at least once during the night. Ugh. And you're probably changing your sheets the next day. Clockwork, Joel. Clockwork. It's 1 day cold. It is just it is gross. It is sweaty. It is yucky, but a big hit of emergency, oregano oil, lemon juice, hot bath, sweat it out, does not fail me. And I am again knocking on wood. I'm around germs all day with 2 kids at school and 1 kid at daycare and dealing with the public, and my cold durations are generally day. Now, I'm also the first guy to go, okay, I'm at the peak of my cold. I am taking today off and I'm doing nothing. Mm-hmm. So
which enough people don't do that. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Especially the sweat.
Okay. I won't be doing that, but that's okay.
Give it a try. Trust me. I mean, you still have the sniffles for your Grey Cup cold.
Everything's coming out now. And I just the cough is still lingering. I've hit mute a lot today. So
I can tell, I can hear it cut, but no, give it a try. Trust me, man.
I am just way too uncomfortable hot. I would not be able to do anything. Final question.
Okay.
You will figure out who this is from.
I got a good idea.
It's not the traditional format, I'll tell you that.
Okay.
With your knowledge of the inner workings of the Saskatchewan Rush and their recent photos of the mascot, Rowdy, eating one of the new bison burgers, which of the possible things are true? Number 1, Rowdy is a cannibal.
Okay, yep.
Number 2, Rowdy is a cannibal, and that is why Horny disappeared. 3, that mascot is not Rowdy, but Horny in an evil twin switcheroo.
Okay, so here's my theory. And it was hinted to by the Russia social media team, by the way, today, who did a great job on this, as this comes from our friend Greg on Sports, occasional co-host of this show.
Yep.
The Rush social media team was leaning into this as Greg was asking them these questions today. And I can assure you, my theory is that Horny has come back, because I didn't know this until the Rush tweeted this out. Did you know that eating bison's apparently an aphrodisiac?
I did not. I also saw that tweet, but I did not know until then.
Right? I learned that right there and then. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So based on that, either Rowdy is trying to disguise himself as Horny to get away with the murder of Horny, or it's like a Bart Simpson evil twin switcheroo, and Horny is in fact eating Rowdy. Either way, cannibalism's going on, but I hear that burger slaps. And all I know is the party's back in Rush Nation this year, and they've got burgers that make you horny. So could be some wild crowds at SaskTel Center this year.